Everyone has that one friend that never shows up on time. It doesn't matter what the event is, it doesn't matter when you tell them to show up, they will always show up late. But before I get into that, the goal for today's video is to make this house look less ugly. So the main reason I'm making this video is because I used to be one of these people. I used to always be late to every single thing. And trust me when I say this, I am not proud of it at all. You know, I know how these people think. The main reason to why they always show up late is because they just don't want to be the first one to arrive. Well, that's at least the case for me. This is gonna sound crazy, but the main reason why I never wanted to arrive first was because I didn't want to wait for other people. And thinking about that now, that is so ironic because people would just end up waiting for me because I was always late. That was the main reason, but another reason was that I was just super lazy. A thing I remember always doing was when people would ask me where I am, I would say I'm almost there, but in reality I wasn't even in the shower yet. Obviously at some point my friends caught on because I was always late to every single thing. So what they started doing was they started telling me the wrong time to arrive. They started telling me to arrive an hour earlier than everyone else. And this would just lead me to arriving at the exact same time as everyone else, so it worked for them, but that's the point where I started feeling super bad that they had to do that. You know, it's crazy. They had to tell me to show up earlier than the actual time just so I'm not late. And one particular memory I have of being late is at a New Year's party. So my friend was hosting a New Year's party and told all of us to reach at 10 p.m. We all agreed that we'll reach at 10 p.m. but when the time came, I obviously did not end up reaching at 10 p.m. I actually ended up reaching 30 minutes before the countdown, so that was 11:30 p.m. I ended up arriving with some friends. And the funny thing is we agreed on meeting with another group that was running late before we got into the party. They actually had a valid reason. They were out for dinner while we just were being lazy. And they ended up reaching at 11 p.m. so they reached a whole half an hour before us. And I felt super bad because the friend was annoyed and he was rightfully annoyed. These shenanigans went on for years. I was never changing my ways until last year. Last year I stopped being immature and I decided I'm gonna start working on this. So I seriously started working on my punctuality, and the crazy thing is that I would say punctuality is one of my strengths now. Like hand on heart, I'm genuinely never late now. And if I do end up being late, it is a valid reason. I finally realized how important it is to respect people's time. I decided to completely change my ways and it was definitely for the better. And you know, I've improved so much and my friends have actually noticed. They've actually gone out their way to compliment me, saying that I'm a whole new man now. And that means so much to me because I genuinely tried very hard to stop being like that. But the thing is, because I've changed my ways, I now get annoyed when people are late. And I know I'm not allowed to be annoyed because I used to be just like them. But it is what it is. I just naturally get so annoyed. And this is where my friend comes in. When I used to be late, he was my partner in crime and he used to always be late to everything with me. But now I've changed my ways and he hasn't at all. He's late to every single thing. It doesn't matter what the event is, he's just going to be late. I've actually ran out of wood. Oh my god. So one example of him being late is when we agreed to go meet at the driving range. This driving range is usually very packed and you need all your members to show up at the same time so they can put you in an available bay. And in this specific scenario, it was me, him, and another friend that agreed to do this. Me and the other friend were not late at all and we arrived at the time we agreed on. But my late friend ended up reaching an hour late. So while waiting for him, we were just in the car park because we couldn't really do anything else. And this was in Thailand and it's so hot there. And we didn't have the aircon running in the car, so we were dying from the heat. Like, it was unbearable. He ended up arriving an hour later and we ended up doing our golf session, but it was just so annoying. Most of the time his excuse is that his house is very far away, and that's true. Me and most of my friends live pretty close to each other and he lives really far away compared to us. So yeah, I do agree that's a valid excuse, but not every single time. Now that has been years where you're late all the time, you need to know what time to leave your house. If you just leave your house earlier, then you won't be late. As easy as that. And another situation where this friend was super late was when we agreed to meet at a bar. We all agreed to meet at 9:30 p.m. and everyone arrived at pretty much the same time. You know, some people might have been like 10 minutes late, but that's completely fine. But again, my late friend ended up showing up 1.5 hours later. And the way this bar works, it's like a buffet system. You pretty much get an hour and a half to drink how much you can. And you can start the timer whenever you want. So we thought we would be nice and we would wait for our friend, right? So we waited half an hour and he never ended up showing up. So we started the buffet timer and an hour into the buffet is when he finally ended up showing up. It just shows how late he was. And the only reason we started the timer is because we just know how he is and we knew he was going to be super late. Every time we would ask him where he's at, he would just say how he's super close and he's almost there. But obviously he was lying because it took him so long to come. A funny thing that ended up happening from this is that when he finally arrived, one of my other friends took his phone and forced him to share his location with us so this doesn't happen in the future. And the late friend didn't say anything and he just agreed to it. Now, so we had superpowers now. We knew where he was at all times. And a couple weeks later, he completely forgot that he was sharing his location with us and he was once again running late. We asked him where he was and he said he was almost there. But we checked his location and he was still at his house. And we sent him the screenshot and he couldn't really say anything because he was caught red-handed. That moment was just super funny, but because of that, he stopped sharing his location and, you know, we can't really do anything about it now. Another thing that used to really annoy me, and this is about another friend now. This friend would always tell me, let's hop on Discord and play some video games tonight. And I would ask him what time and he would end up saying like 9 p.m. or something. And, you know, I would say sure. I would join the call at 9 p.m. and I would wait for him. I would give him like 10-20 minutes and he would never end up joining. The next logical thing to do is call him. So I would do that. But this guy would always have his phone on do not disturb and I do not know why. So he would never pick up his calls, and that's actually like an inside joke now in our friend group, because wherever we are, he just doesn't pick up the call and it's so annoying. And then a few hours later, he would text me saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry, bro. I was just having dinner," or "I was hanging out with my mom." And I was like, I'll tell him that that's a great thing to do, but you know what would be better? If he just let me know that he was doing that, so I don't just end up staring at my PC like a dumbass for hours. He would do this all the time, and I'm sure he would still do it now, but we don't really play games anymore. The one thing I want you to take away from this video is to start respecting people's time. If anything I talked about today sounds like you, please stop doing that. You need to seriously start respecting people's time, because people have things to do and places to be. So you doing that is just super disrespectful. You know, you're hearing this from someone that used to be like this, and I regret it so much. I seriously regret acting like that for so many years of my life, and I'm so happy that I've changed. If you do end up showing up late, the one thing I want you to do is apologize. I've got friends that don't even apologize, and it's the most annoying thing ever. You have to acknowledge that you completely wasted their time and at least say sorry. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know down in the comments if you have any thoughts on this topic, and if you ended up enjoying this video, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you're still watching till now, you're definitely enjoying it, so you might as well click on the video that just popped up, or don't. It's obviously up to you. Thank you guys for watching and have a great night. Peace.